Good afternoon, everyone, or maybe it is good morning there, depends where you are right now. Like in David's situation, David Buurma, he's right now in Canada, all the way in Canada. David Buurma, hello. We are doing this second time. Let's see if that works this time. How are you right now?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you? How's it going there?
I'm good as well. I got a little bit worried there when we couldn't see you because we want to definitely see you. And you are there on camera right now as well.
That's awesome.
Good shout. David, what do you think this situation just taught us? What do you think this situation literally just showed us how people should handle situations? Because I think
that actually is a really good one. I mean, I think not only in business, but also in relationships, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be moments where there's friction, opportunity to blame somebody, to be a little pushy on something and feel the difficulties. And I'll just be quick on this one, but when I look back at my relationship, it's not the arguments that I won or lost, it's the experiences that we enjoyed or didn't enjoy, period.
Love that. This is so powerful. And how often people actually do their best to win the argument, to make sure they come out from this situation being the right person. And it's not always the right thing to do.
Never is. I never won an argument yet with a woman.
Is it because you believe the woman is always right?
No, they just go sideways. You're going down the street this way, right? And then you think you get to the end of the street, you win the argument, and then they do a sharp right? It's like, where's that conversation come from?
No. That is good. That is good. That's it. Well, I'm really sorry that actually we had this situation where we couldn't see you, but now we fully can see you. I'm just double checking. Yes, we can. And this is wonderful. And those people who just joined us, please let us know if you also can see David and me, both of us together on the screen. And today's topic is actually a bit sensitive, I must say, and it's a bit dangerous as well. It's like dangerous route to go down there, right? But gender equality is something what people are so passionate about nowadays. And we have seen lots of seminars about empowering women and giving the voice and all of the rest. But my question always is, I wonder how gender equality is actually affecting relationships. And David, you were giving some really beautiful examples from your marriage. Do you mind just to recall them back and to tell more about what have you experienced in terms of gender equality in your marriage?
Yeah, that's not a problem. So basically, you have two forces in life. You have the how you were raised, one, right, and then you have society.
Yes.
Basically your two forces. What society is teaching you, what school is teaching you, what social media is teaching you, what all those things are teaching you, and then you have your family. And actually, when you use those two dynamics, you actually get pretty screwed up.
I like that.
You do, and then because what all that teaches you, and when you apply it to relationships, you're confused than ever because. As we talked before, women are looking for strong men. The world's looking for strong men. The world's looking for strong leaders. Women besides too, yes, of course. But women are looking for strong men, right? And when we're confused about who we are, when we're confused about what we're delivering, when we're confused about all those things, the attraction just drops for women.
Yes. And I can definitely agree with you there because it doesn't matter how much women are saying that, no, we are empowered, we can do things ourselves, we can survive without men. I must say that there is something magical. There is a chemistry between a really masculine man and a feminine woman. And this topic, I think, is something where people will argue all the time. Doesn't matter what century it is. But masculinity and femininity, these are two things which should be in relationships. An amount of clients I was working with where men would come here and they would say, I'm not happy in my relationships. And the reason would be because they're not masculine enough. And the reason why they're not masculine enough, because they wanted to make their woman happy. And as a result, they backed off, they started becoming more leaner, they agreed to everything the woman says to the extent, yes, darling, let's do what you want, darling. It's going to be the way you want, darling. And they're not happy about it.
No, I'm happy.
We don't.
100%. No, I've actually said this for philosophy as I've studied this enough. I find women in the younger age, they date macho guys.
Yes.
Right? And then they get to a point where these macho guys, because most macho guys are rude and derogatory, and that's a conversation we talk about later. Because again, I'm not talking about those type of guys, but that is the majority of them. And they go from the rude, derogatory macho guy and say, "Listen, this is not a guy I need to marry. I got to marry marriage material." And in their mind, marriage material becomes what I call the beta guy, the weaker guy,
Yeah.
right? And so they marry that. They marry for 5, 10 years. They realize how boring their life is
Yeah.
because they want excitement, they want change, they want all these kind of things. They want a man to take charge. They want all these things, and then they move on and they fall back to the macho guy.
Yes.
And a lot of times they lose a lot of that heart and that connection, and so they go after the macho guy again that's disconnected, and they go back to the other pattern again, and so never really learning the lesson, because it takes quite a gentleman to be both strong and be a gentleman besides. All the characteristics that women love. I mean, and you could say you don't like it and all that kind of stuff, but I've seen it. I've proven it more and time again. Simple things of opening the door for the woman,
Yes.
right? Like, what's that putting in position for
Mhm.
masculinity and femininity? Obviously, the masculine's pulling a stronger role. He's opening the door for the woman. The guy puts up his arm like this, and the lady comes up and puts his arm around him. It's like, I'm the boss, and you're putting your arms around me, right? And so it creates a woman to feel feminine, feel good, feel protected, feel all that kind of stuff. Um, all those type of things. A hand gesture, all that kind of stuff, without being weird. On their back or whatever, just to make them feel comfortable, feel safe, and looking after it. That makes a woman feel amazing. And I've noticed this after enough experiences that it's true. And a lot of times people will say, "Well, no, you know what, you're full of bullcrap." I was like, "No, you know what? I've tried it long enough. I realize it's true."
Yeah.
Right?
And I would definitely agree with you there, because what every woman wants, and deep inside of her heart, even though she doesn't want to admit because she must be strong and powerful and whatever else, she would definitely admit that she wants safety, wants security. She wants to feel protected by her man. But again, that means giving men that space to be that boss. And I love what you're saying, because to me, I relate to that so well. But we both know how many people don't agree with that. They disagree with man being the boss. They disagree with man being in charge. They disagree with man being decisive, and they say, no, it should be 50-50.
Yeah, no, and I'm very attracted to strong women, right? Very attracted. And you have your sayings too. I mean, what the woman's role is, and we can ask that a little later. But but basically, yeah, I mean, when a woman goes out to work, I don't want a weak woman.
Yeah.
When a woman goes and runs part of my business, I don't want a weak woman. I'm happy for them to take over whatever position they want in work. But when it comes to at home or it comes to the bedroom, right? We've talked about this, that the woman wants that role to be switched. Obviously, we want to stay connected,
Yeah.
right? In connection with them. But it's a different role for sure what the woman's looking for.
100%. Because again, it's about being with a man and knowing that they're protected, they're safe, and all the rest of it. But at the same time, it's about that connection. Because what's the point to be in relationships where you're not happy, but you still are together, but you're not connected? It just doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you a question then.
Okay.
In this journey that you've gone on, was like, a lot of times I question my authenticity of my masculinity. Wow. And you're a tall woman that's strong. How do you know your authenticity to your feminine side? How do you know when it's not just fake or that kind of stuff? And what's been your transition in your life to feel feminine around a strong guy, a masculine guy? And how do you know he's the right guy to feel feminine around? Because I think there's a point when you should maybe be strong, and other times when you should be not weak but feminine. What's your experience? What's your journey been on that?
Well, you see, David, it was actually such a journey because my grandma, she's a very strong and she is big, like big Russian mama, right? And my grandpa, he was very skinny. And even when he died, he was still very, very skinny guy, right? And it was pretty much my grandma who was ruling the house. So, for example, if my grandpa sometimes would be quite a bit naughty and he would have a drink, she would just simply not let him in. So I saw that behavior, and then money was always in my grandma's hands, and that was just lack of chemistry, lack of love. I didn't see, they were passionate about each other. My grandma always complained about him. Then I saw my mom's journey, which was quite similar, because again, she saw that, and in her subconscious, that was her normal, right? It's absolutely normal being masculine. And she was doing the same thing. All money was in her hands, and there were quite lots of complaints, and she was also very strong. She worked, and she still works, even though she lost her husband now. And she still brings up herself, and carries on being strong. And I remember when I was looking at these two situations, because I grew up with that, I couldn't really understand why it has to be like that. Why are you complaining so much about whether grandpa or my stepdad not being capable to do things? But at the same time, you don't allow them to do things. You don't allow them to make a mistake. And literally, I would hear phrases like, again, you did this wrong. Let me show you how to do it.
Yeah, you want to freaking kill masculinity, you do that.
Exactly, 100%. And that was really surprising me. But again, I was quite a little girl. I didn't know, or anything about chemistry.